بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Because of the lateness, we'll have a short khatira inshallah. So we had mentioned that Allah's names typically occur in pairs. And before we finish our series, I wanted to illustrate two interesting, if you like, subcategories of the pairs of Allah's names. Two interesting subcategories. The first of these subcategories, some names of Allah are actually almost opposite in meaning, and they always occur in pairs. And whenever this is the case, then we as well should try our best to always mention those names together. And of the most famous examples in the Quran is هُوَ الْأَوَّلُ وَالْآخِرُ وَالظَّاهِرُ وَالْبَاطِنُ. So these are names of Allah that always occur together, and in fact the perfection of meaning only comes when you combine both of them together. So Al-Awwal is the one who is pre-eternal, who has no one before him. As our Prophet ﷺ explained, أَنْتَ الْأَوَّلُ فَلَيْسَ قَبْلَكَ شَيْءٍ. So Al-Awwal means before there was anyone, there was Allah. So we translate it as the first, but the first meaning from eternity. Al-Akhir is of course the last, or the fancy word is sempiternal, or eternal in the future. So pre-eternal and sempiternal. Allah is both. He is Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir. Now the two meanings only come together to the two meanings combine to become perfect in meaning. Allah is Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir. And Allah Azza wa Jal always mentions these names together. And the same in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that he himself as well mentions that أنت الأول والآخر. And in one hadith, أنت الأول فليس قبلك شيء وأنت الآخر فليس بعدك شيء. So whenever we mention Allah's name Al-Awwal, we should always mention as well Al-Akhir, because these two names have almost the opposite meanings, but when you put them together you get the perfection. As well, the other combination in this ayah, that huwa al-awwal wal-akhiru wal-zahiru wal-batin. These two names as well, they might seem to be exact opposite, but when you put them together, that's when perfection comes. So al-zahir in one sense means the one who is the highest, or the one who's the most clear, the one who's the most apparent. And al-batin means the one who is hidden. So Allah is al-zahir and al-batin together. How is that the case? Well, because there is nothing more obvious than Allah. And that's why, as a tangent here, that we as Muslims believe that you don't need complicated proofs for the existence of Allah. Allah's proof is self-evident, it's logical. Allah's proof, everything is screaming Allah's existence. You don't need complicated theorems and philosophical maxims and advanced formulas. It is self-evident, zahir. You look around and you see the creation and you realize there must be a creator. So al-zahir, he is apparent, he is clearly, his signs are everywhere. And al-batin, Allah works in ways you'll never understand. Allah works in ways you'll never know. How your rizq comes to you, how something this is al-batin. And our Prophet ﷺ also explained that أَنْتَ الظَّاهِرُ فَلَيْسَ فَوْقَكَ شَيْءٍ. You are al-zahir, no one is above you, no one is more powerful than you, no one can overcome you. وَأَنْتَ الْبَاطِنُ فَلَيْسَ دُونَكَ شَيْءٍ. And you are the batin, nothing is hidden from you. So the zahir and the batin are both names of Allah, and the perfection comes when we combine those two names together. And of the examples of this is Al-Mubdi' wal-Mu'id, right? هو الذي يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده, right? ويبدئ ويعيد. Al-Mubdi' and Al-Mu'id, the one who begins and then the one who continues whatever he began. So Allah began life, Allah began the creation, Al-Mubdi', and then Allah Mu'id, He continues our life and our creation, one generation after another. Al-Mubdi' and Al-Mu'id. Also Al-Mu'iz and Al-Mudhil, right? Tu'izzu man tasha' wa tudhillu man tasha'. Al-Mu'iz and Al-Mudhil, these two names almost exact opposite in meaning, but the perfection comes when you do what? you combine them together. Al-Mu'izz, the one who gives honor to others. Al-Mudhil, the one who can strip that honor away whenever He chooses to do so. So these are one subcategory of Allah's names, and we said that in some sense they're actually almost opposite in meaning, but when you combine them together you get perfection. And one other subcategory, which is actually a very deep one, and we don't have time to go into it in a lot of detail, but I'll just mention it, and inshallah maybe not this series, another series we can go into more detail. Another subcategory is those two names that are complementary in a unique fashion. How so? The first name demonstrates Allah's perfection in and of Himself, and the second name demonstrates Allah's perfection with the creation. So the first name, Allah's perfection in and of Himself. The second name, Allah's perfection in how He deals with the creation. And once again, these two names almost always they occur in the Quran together, but sometimes they don't occur necessarily together. But the beauty comes when you combine these two names together. Now the most obvious example is the most powerful example, and that is the example of Ayatul Kursi. Al-Hayy and Al-Qayyum. Al-Hayy and Al-Qayyum. Al-Hayy, Allah's perfection in Himself as the one who is the perfect one, who is characterized with life. No being has life the way that Allah has it. And that's why in Ayatul Kursi, Allah says He doesn't become sleepy, He doesn't become tired. Nothing makes Him tired. Al-Hayy is the one who has perfect life. Al-Qayyum, He is the one who provides life to everything else. He Himself is Al-Hayy. He doesn't need any one of us. Al-Qayyum, we need Him. Al-Qayyum, He sustains life to others. So Al-Hayy, perfection within Allah. Al-Qayyum, perfection with the creation. And there are many other examples. We only have time for one more, and that is the example I'll choose, Al-Ghani and Al-Kareem. Right? That Allah mentions Al-Ghani and Al-Kareem many times in the Quran together. We mentioned Al-Kareem, and it's the one who gives and gives and gives, who is generous by nature. Al-Ghani, we translate it as the rich, but it's not the proper translation. Al-Ghani translates as the one who has no need from anyone. The one who doesn't need anything. That's Al-Ghani. The true richness is to not be in poverty to someone else. Al-Ghani, I don't need anyone from anything. Allah Azza wa Jal is Al-Ghani. He is self-sufficient. And Al-Kareem, He provides everyone else what they need. Right? So Al-Ghani and Al-Kareem, once again, when you put them together, you get a perfection that each individual name by itself does not do. The first name, Allah's perfection in His own that, Al-Ghani. I don't need anything from anyone. I am self-sufficient. None of you can benefit Allah. None of you can harm Allah. You can do nothing to change Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is self-sufficient. He doesn't need us, Al-Ghani. Yet we need Him, Al-Kareem. Everything we have is from Him. He is Al-Kareem. So Al-Ghani and Al-Kareem again put together. And there are many other examples as well. For example, Al-Ahad, Al-Samad. And that's why Surah Al-Ikhlas is 1/3 of the Quran. And maybe if we have time, we only have 2-3 days left, we'll try to do maybe Ahad and Samad. I haven't decided the final names. But anyway, the khatira for today is very simple. And that is that within these subcategories of the duality of names, one subcategory is the opposite names that complement one another. الأول والآخر الظاهر والباطن المبدئ والمعيد المعز والمذل. Another subcategory, those two names that complement one another in that each meaning is complementary. The first one, Allah's perfection. The second one, His perfection with the creation. The first one, Allah is perfect in and of Himself. The second one, He is perfect in His dealings with the creation. And we gave as examples Al-Hayy Al-Qayyum and Al-Ghani Al-Kareem, and also Al-Ahad Al-Samad. And there are other examples as well in the second category. And inshallah ta'ala we will continue with another name of Allah tomorrow. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.